Hello everyone, myself Mizanur Rahman and my student ID is 210819119. My presentation topic is Can Social Values Shape Customer Preference? Analysis of Clothing Industry in the UK. I have already mentioned about my presentation topic. Now I am discussing it in detail. First and foremost, the clothing business in the United Kingdom is economically significant due to its contribution to exports and employment, but it is also heavily impacted by consumers' alignment with social values. The purpose of this study is to investigate the extent to which social values impact customer preferences in the UK clothing sector, recognizing the growing importance of values in purchase decisions. Driven by an increased interest in ethical and sustainable fashion, increased awareness about the societal and environmental impact of clothing production and consumption, particularly as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, has resulted in shift in consumer behavior, including a preference for conscious consumption and online shopping. These research intend to provide insight for apparel firms to alter their offerings by investigating the relationship between customer values and choices. In this slide, I am talking about research aim and objective. Research aim. The research intend to investigate the extent to which social values impact customer preferences in the UK textile industry. Research objective: to identify the social values that customers in the UK garment sector value highly. Determine the extent to which social values impact client purchasing decisions in the UK clothing sector. To look into the relationship between societal ideals and client preferences in the garment sector in the United Kingdom. Now, I am explain about research methodology. First and foremost, the qualitative research methodology was chosen because it allows for a deep dive into the intricate interplay of social values and client preferences, revealing nuanced motivation and reasons behind customer choices in the garment sector. The interpretivism philosophy corresponds with the study goal of understanding the complex interaction between social values and customer behavior, allowing for an in-depth exploration of underlying motivation and perceptions within the apparel business. Given the relatively unexplored study area in the inductive research approach is appropriate for the inquiry of the impact of social values on customer preference, allowing for the production of new insight and hypotheses from data obtained. Using a case study technique with a descriptive design allows for a thorough investigation of the role of social values on customer preference in the UK. I am discussing now about my data collection. The data is collected from 2017 to 2012, since 5-year data provides a more complete picture of the situation, as newer data provide a more solid foundation for research topics analysis. The information was gathered from the following sources: academic research papers. These are scholarly studies that have been published in academic journals and provide a research-based viewpoint on organizational leadership and its impact on clothing brands. Industry reports. Company or third-party reports may provide a detailed examination of the company's leadership practices and strategies. Annual reports, sustainability reports, and other publicly available reports that give information are examples of these reports. News. Articles about the importance of social values in driving customer preferences for clothing brands may provide insight the company's leadership practices and strategies. These articles, which may be published in credible news venues, offer a current perspective on the importance of social values in driving customer preference for clothing brands. Company website. Websites relating to social values play an important part in the establishing customer preferences for clothing brands, and they provide current and up-to-date information about the company's leadership practices. Official corporate website. Industry news website. and other relevant websites that provide information on the importance of social values in molding customer preference for clothing brands are example of these. Industry surveys. Company or third-party surveys may provide a complete examination of social values. Now I'm gonna talk about data analysis. The research used thematic data analysis for this study, which is following steps: data collection, data transcription, data coding, data interpretation, drawing conclusion. Four key themes were developed for the data analysis. Factor theme: social values, prominent social values in the UK clothing industry. Purchasing decision, impact of social values on purchasing decision. Relationship BTW, SB and CP. Interplay between social values and customer preferences. Strategies. Strategies for aligning with customer social values. I'll expose here this research finding objective. Finding objective 1: to examine the social values that have high support for clients of UK's clothing industry. First and foremost, social image as a brand value driver. In the UK clothing business, consumers' perception of brand value are prominently driven by social image, highlighting the importance of perceived social standing in molding their preferences. The influence of product quality on purchases. The perceived quality of a product substantially predicted purchase decision. Underscoring the critical role of product is excellence in guiding consumer choices. The internet and luxury brand exclusivity. Luxury brands can use the internet without sacrificing the exclusivity, implying that digital presence can be used to maintain luxury brand status while growing research. Millennials and technology reshaping premium segment. The effect of technology and millennials is redefining traditional models in the luxury apparel category, signaling a shift of customer taste and behaviors. Finding objective 2: to examine the impact of social values on clients' dynamic in the UK's clothing industry. First and foremost, growing importance of social values. A sizable 46% of questioned US consumers said they now place a lot more emphasis on social values than they did a year ago, indicating a rising trend of values influencing purchasing decision. Consumer preference alignment. A significant 55% of consumers said they are more likely to buy from companies that match their values, demonstrating a clear link between shared values and purchase decision. High value on value based purchase. An overwhelming 78% of respondents reported making purchase decisions based on values in the previous year, demonstrating that values have a significant impact on consumer buying behavior. Value ignorance. Only 4% of consumers felt that a company's values were unimportant in their purchase decisions. Finding objective 3: to investigate the connection between social values and client inclination in the UK's clothing industry. First and foremost, consumer preference alignment. Brands that match with social reasons and values are increasingly favored by customers in the UK clothing sector, as evidenced by consumer predisposition towards companies that promote social causes such as Ben & Jerry's and Arnold. Importance of public stance. 70% of consumers value business publicly advocating social and political concern, with 66% believing that brands can effectively bring about substantial change through their advocacy. Impact on loyalty and trust. Brands that incorporate social ideals into their core business strategy while being authentic and transparent tend to generate deeper customer loyalty and trust, hence improving their overall reputation. Consumer behavior and values. Social values such as self-enhancement, openness to change, distinctiveness, and social acceptance affect consumer preferences in the UK clothing sector, demonstrating that firms that embrace these values in their offers are more likely to resonate with customers. Objective 4. Suggestions for apparel organization aligning with customers' social values. First and foremost, authentic integration. Apparel companies in the United Kingdom should authentically integrate social principles into their brand identity and operations, ensuring that their commitment to these values is genuine and consistent with their actions. Transparency and communication. To create customer trust and loyalty, prioritize transparent communication about the organization's social initiatives, detailing their efforts, collaboration, and impact. Support relevant causes. Identify and support social causes that are aligned with both the organization's values and the target consumer base, exhibiting a genuine commitment to issues that are important to customers. Engagement and collaboration. Encourage customer participation and collaboration by incorporating them in decision-making process connected to social activities, establishing a feeling of community and shared values. Now, I am summarizing these research. First and foremost, social values drive brand perception. According to the findings, consumers' perception of brand value in the UK textile industry are highly influenced by social image, highlighting the importance of perceived social status in molding choices. Values may increase purchases. According to the study, there is a substantial association between shared values and purchasing decision, with the majority of consumers more likely to buy from companies that fit with their values, indicating the growing importance of ethical consideration. Advocacy increase brand impact. Customers favor business that actively embrace social and political problems because they believe such advocacy may create genuine change. This highlights the potential for brands to harness their influence for societal benefits. Ethical integration increases loyalty. Genuinely incorporating social ideals into company strategy develops deeper customer loyalty and trust, paving the way for long-term success in the UK garment industry's changing consumer preferences. The reflection of this research. First and foremost, longitudinal data for comprehensive insight. While data from 2017 to 2012 provided a useful snapshot of trends, incorporating a more extended longitudinal scope could have provided a more comprehensive understanding of the evolving dynamics between social values and consumer preferences, particularly the impact of changes over time. Diversified data sources for robustness. While academic research papers, industry reports, surveys, news articles, and company websites were used to collect data, incorporating more direct customer feedback via focus groups or in-depth interviews could have added richer qualitative insight, enhancing the depth of the analysis. Global context for comparative analysis. While the study gave useful insight into the relationship between social values and consumer preferences in the UK garment sector, it did not give a global context for comparative analysis. Quantitative data for statistical significance. While the qualitative approach provided valuable insight into nuanced motivation, incorporating quantitative data via surveys or statistical analysis could have provided a more robust understanding of the statistical significance of the observed trends and correlation. Considering counterargument for valence. To present a well-rounded analysis considering potential counterarguments to the observed connection between social values and consumer preferences would have strengthened the researcher's credibility, demonstrating a comprehensive evaluation of the factors at play. Incorporating industry experts for validation. Engaging with industry experts or practitioners in the UK clothing industry to validate the findings and interpretations could have added a layer of practical insight, ensuring that the research align closely with the industry's real-world dynamics. Here are my references which I used in my research. Thank you for your time and consideration and undivided attention throughout this presentation.